Alright, welcome to part 3. So I thought I was done with welding, but I'm wrong. I'm going to attach the lights. So the lights were, this one was about up to here. So you can see it wouldn't have worked with that plate that needed to be there for the new suspension. So we're going to move it back so that it's flush with the back here, so that it's maybe a little bit easier to see. So I'm just going to grind off the corners here to expose the metal and clear off any debris and make a good solid connection. And then I'm going to do the same to the light itself. We'll clean that off so I can run a nice clean bead or weld, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's get out of here. Let's get some stuff on here, get this put back together before we get more rain. Yikes. Rainy year. Not rainy river, but rainy year. Okay, let's attach. No screwing around. Let's get this done. Got a good line here, got a good line here. Oh, we're good. Signal lights are on. Woo! Now I have to change the wiring system a little bit. So what I might do is I'll keep probably a chunk of this tube and feed it through, and then I'll attach that tube on the inside of this back plate here. I don't know. You guys, it's just a C channel. So I'll attach it there just to keep it here and safe, and then I'll drill a new hole through the frame here and the frame here, just so that I can run that wire across this way. Super clean, super easy, and then it's tucked away so that it won't get cut by anything with the boat moving or anything like that. But I've taken a photograph here because my memory's short and it's not very good. So here we've got green and brown going to green, going to red, and then brown going to black. I've taken a photograph on my phone just so I can make sure that the connections are the same, so that the trailer is wired up so that when I go for a right signal, this is the one that comes on. It's all good that way. So yeah, I'm just going to cut the wires now and then feed the wire through the metal tube. We'll pull the tube off, and then I'll drill the hole in behind here at the back. I have lots of slack here too, so I might shorten it up here just to make things a bit clean. So there's less chance that any exposed wire can hook up onto something like, say, a dock or something like that, and the metal frame is protecting it. Through. Well, that's good. That's what we want to see. We want to see penetration. Okay, so we got a fish tape here. We got some electrical tape. I'm going to take the fish, feed it through here to try and get it out this hole over here, so that I can bring it out, tape up this end, feed it back through, bringing it around. We'll see how that goes. Wish me luck. This could be hilarious. This could be disastrous. Probably both. Or this could be really easy. I'm actually going to put just a bend a little hook kind of on the end of that. Okay. So there's a lot of gunk in here. Obviously there would be rust and all that. So kind of take this off. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, no, don't do that. Come on, lefty. Alright, hope you guys seen that. So we are through. So now I'm going to back this off some more. Maybe. Let's give myself a little slack to work with here. Okay. So now we're going to swing this around. We're going to tape these together for quite a distance so there's lots of, hopefully less slippage for torque. Like I said, there's quite a bit of rust in here. So. It's not like there's not enough space for this thing to go through there, but I'm concerned that maybe going around back through might be a bit of an issue. Let's see how it goes. We're going to wrap this a couple times just to really make sure that we make it through. Yeah, we don't want it coming off while we're trying to feed it through. Enough room for this to work. Getting a little misty here. Might have to shut this down for a bit. Just worried about the camera. Well, that felt like progress. The right way. Oh shit. Well, I'm going to keep working, but the camera is going to be off, and hopefully by the time you guys get to see this again, we'll be through. So this is where the ground was. All I'm going to do is take the file and just clear it off of any paint and burr and exposed metal. You need that metal on metal contact for a ground. Grounding is one of the biggest failures of light systems on trailers. Okay, so you see that? We got some nice shiny metal. That's good. Okay, so white is the ground. So I've got, I'm not using a fancy stripper, I'm just using an X-Acto blade. Being super careful with it and expose the copper. because that's where the current's going to go through. A little bit at a time, shave it off, not in a hurry. We're not winning awards, we're not being paid by piecework. Not saying piecework doesn't work. I've done it before myself, painting, but I never made it. More interested in quality of work. So, we got one exposed end. So this one here is the one coming from the connection to the truck. So I need some cable to work with, so I'm just going to cut the outside casing off. I'm just going to score it and then score it again because I don't want to cut the casing on any of the cables inside. I'm going to keep those together. So now that I have it scored, I'll just try and separate it with my pliers here. It is pretty tough and durable. So I'm just going to score it just a bit more. Should be able to get that to separate for the most part. There we go. See? Well, we have some exposure. I'm just gonna rip it now. It should rip a little bit. Okay. There. So now I can clean this up. Without damaging the casing to any of the wires on the inside. Okay. So, here we have our 3 colors plus our ground. So, brown is brake. Red is left, green is right signal. So green is just going to go straight through to the other side. White, I'm going to double up. I'm going to do white here with all 3 connections. So what I mean by all 3 is there's going to be the one coming from the front, the one that's going through to the other side, and then the light itself has one. So that's 3 connections we're going to put together, and then it's going to go with a self-tapper right through here and then ground out on the trailer itself. But first I need to expose this side as well. So all I've done here is spun these 2 together. I'm going to keep this one separate. It's going to have its own eyelet here for a clamp. So I'm going to put these 2 together. I'm going to solder them. Then I'm going to clamp an eyelet to it. I'm just soldering them to keep them together. So it's a good connection. That's all. Nothing crazy, nothing super fancy. I'll just put that in there just for now, just to keep it in place. Look at that, I'm an electrician. Pliers are for everything. Pliers are hammers, right? It's kind of a slow, tedious process, but it's not one that you want to rush through. So you want enough torque here to try and prevent corrosion and rusting from current. There, that's that. We've got brown for the brake, which is attached to the black. So brown and black. And then here we've got green here to the red. That's for the signal. So we're just gonna get rid of those connectors right there. And then we'll reconnect to this guy here.
Tape's coming off.
I just put it on. Okay. So now we're just gonna heat that up and let it get soaked right into the wire connection.
This side work already?
Well, I have to test it on the truck. Okay, I'm actually gonna, can you pass me the torch, please? Thank you. Beautiful. Solder's all sucked in. So now we can go let that cool down. That's what I call, that should be a solid connection. All the way there. Cool down enough. Massage the join. Join's right in the middle. Heat shrink. Apply heat. Change the angle. Sealed. Wow. Heat shrinked. Okay, so there's our signal there. Okay, so here's the test. We're gonna hook it up to the truck. We're gonna see if the lights work. Let's all laugh together when they don't. Okay, so we got some Zep degreaser, citrus degreaser. We're gonna try and spray this and clean off the grease that's here and hopefully get the connection we need.
What's the kid that just basic shoe?
Brighter now. There you go. Oh,
Can I smack it?
No, just leave it. It might get better as it dries out from the chemical too.
oh yeah. Look at it. It's getting brighter.
But the timing, it's in time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on the brakes, if you guys don't mind, checking to make sure that they stay solid.
It's still not as bright as the other one, but it is.
Now tell me if they both come on.
Okay.
Yes.
They're kind of one.
Yes.
All right, lights are good. All right, guys. We got the rollers figured out where I want to put them. So the way I did it was I moved the boat up here. I had someone help me to align everything, and I've got it marked out where I'm going to put the rollers. The boat's a little uneven on the bottom, so I have to be a little different on how I do the rollers on here. So I'm just going to grind now where I've got the rollers marked out where they go. I'm happy with where they line up on the bottom keel of the boat. So we're just going to stop talking and get to work. time for some fenders. Let's get some fenders on. So, rough dry fit doesn't work. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take these bolts out and move where the brackets are to fit with the frame to get it to a comfortable height above the tire with the appropriate distance away from the frame over top of the tire. Let's get to work. All I'm doing right now is trying to find center on the hub. So I've measured out center on the fender and it lines up perfectly with the axle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in place here just like this, and then I'll do the same on the other side using the same sort of measuring system. Before I attach everything, I'm going to have to remove my spool of wire underneath, or else that's going to be a problem later. But I'm just going to go ahead and line everything up and tack everything in place before I start getting super crazy. But for the most part, I'm happy with the way this is. Should work out pretty good for protecting the underside of the boat. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just visually inspecting. It looks square to everything here. It'd be really hard to tell, like if you were in a shop, you had a concrete floor, it'd be a little bit easier because concrete should be relatively level, but here, if I was to use a level to try and figure out square and true, I would have to figure out where I'm at here and then compensate and make that equivalent, and I think doing it by the eye test might be a bit better. And I mean, even still, getting it perfect. I'm not a laser guided machine. So just starting holes here. I'm going to use them as my guides. Then I'm going to take the fender out and then finish drilling through to get the size that I need. Then I'll rejoin everything back together at the end. That way I don't have to worry about puncturing a tire. I might have to do this the opposite way because this has a lower profile on the bolt than it does on the nut. So the nut I might do about over here. And there's one fender.
Pardon?
So I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side with the other fender. So you've seen everything that I've done here. We'll move on to the next thing, which will be getting the bunks on. It's bunk time. Here's the holders. They need modifying. There's the wood behind me. I'm not going to explain too much. It'll be pretty obvious in the video. I need to modify these to fit the wood. The wood's just going to go snug up against the boat once I get the boat on here, and then the carpet will be the difference in the thickness for the support. So the support will be picked up by the carpet instead of directly on the rollers. So as you can see, this rust here was where one of these guys initially was. So we're gonna replace it and put it right back where it was. But we're gonna have it set up properly for this boat. So this will be a custom-made setup that'll permanently be good for this boat in particular. It's a 12-foot Springbok Princecraft Co-op Sprinter boat. Now we have it at the contour that I want it. It's following along here on the bottom of the boat. Okay, I'm actually going to clamp this guy here too. So, because we did that, we've adjusted how the board is sitting here on the transom. I anticipated that. I'm actually going to go do the bunk holder in the front. And then this here might adjust even a bit more by the time we're said and done. And then I'll come back and make sure this one's matching where it's supposed to be in. Perfect. We're looking for perfect here. See here, I don't like this angle, so we're going to cut this part. We're going to pizza wedge it out so that I can bend this whole chunk down this way and then really get it to the contour of the boat. Maybe. The mosquitoes don't kill me first. I'll have to weld this hole. I don't know, maybe my fat head's in the way. That gap, I'll weld that gap so that that locks in, but this is a pretty good spot here, way better than what it was, because it was resting right on this strake right here that you can see. But we're in. So I think what I'll do here is I will tack weld the crap out of this to make sure it stays locked in place. I won't burn the wood, and I won't have slag bouncing off the hull of the boat. I'll just do some tacks, strong enough so that it can stay there on its own. And then I can take the clamps, work on the other side, get the other side set up exactly like this. Then I'll take the boat off, and then I'll do the permanent welds. I don't know if I'm going to film any of that, but this is basically the setup that I'm doing for this custom trailer for this boat. And then we'll get to painting. So, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Appreciate you, the viewer. We do this, Ryan and I, we do this we recognize that we're getting older, obviously, and being able to look back on this might be cool in the future. See all the things that we've accomplished, how far we came and all that stuff. Even just in the 7 years that we've been doing SirFishALot, it's been pretty remarkable how much we've invested in just fishing in general and how much knowledge we've gained over the years. So hope you guys have enjoyed our journey, and we'd like to see some of yours. So if you're watching and you've got a channel we're not currently subscribed, make sure you put a link below in the comments to your channel. Now, I do watch quite a few of the followers that we have already. Some of you like to be lurkers in private, and I totally respect that too. So brought the boards inside. Mosquitoes are starting to bug me. Plus it was getting pretty dark out, so I'm gonna do this on the inside. So I have stainless steel, and that's important, stainless steel staples. The reason why that's important because you want them to hold for a while, so the stainless steel won't rust. And then I've got 1/2 inch ones here. I might have to hammer them in. We'll see how this goes. This isn't the softest of wood, but it isn't the hardest either, so. So, the carpet that I have, I went with something that is quite thick because I wanted shock absorption. So I got this stuff off of Amazon. It's a Cuda Premium Bunk Carpet. I went with gray. So one of these is 13 foot by 12 inches, so it's not going to wrap the whole thing. Oh, that's strange. I thought there was 2 rolls in here. It's supposed to be. Anyways, so we've got a side here that's flat. That's the side I'm going to put. Now we've got a fluffy side. So the fluffy side is going to go down, and the board's going to go on the flat side. Okay, so I'll bring this to the end so you guys can see it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to wrap. I'm going to place the carpet right in the middle, or the board right in the middle of the carpet, and I'm just going to wrap around the end like so. And then what I'll do is when I come up to do the corners here, like this. How am I going to do this? How do I do this? I'm going to do it this way first. It's not supposed to be super tight when you do this. It's not like stretching a canvas. Might have to cut some material off here in the corner. Either that or I don't wrap it as hard. No, I want to wrap it. Okay. So I'll do my initial here. I'm just figuring this out as I go along. I'm not being super elite pro about this. But one thing I will say is put in a lot of staples. Tap them in. Just tap, tap, tap. Now what I've done is I folded in here to get 45s, and I'm going to staple down these guys here. Hammer down. And just fold over. That way you get a nice clean edge. So if you're replacing your own bunks, I highly recommend not using treated wood unless you have a fiberglass boat. Treated wood would be the ideal. If you're using an aluminum boat, do not use a treated. I repeat, do not use a treated. What it's treated with is copper. And once that copper gets wet, soaks through the carpet, comes in contact with your bare aluminum hull, you'll get corrosion along there, and then it'll cause pinholes all the way along your hull. There's your carpeted bunk. Maybe I spin it this way a little bit. Alright, as you guys can see, we got some bunks here. They're all done up. Finished them up. They're in place, kind of, but they're not staying here because I'm going to start grinding and getting ready for paint. So I decided to not attach them so it's easier to work around them. So let's get grinding.